Today, I would like to walk you through my minimal setup inside my iPhone 17 Pro, which is optimized for my work-life balance. I'll share all the apps I use daily, my camera settings to get the best pictures and videos out of your iPhone. And if you do like the wallpaper that I'm using here, I'll also share the link down below so you can get the whole pack for free. Now, before we dive into my setup, I quickly want to talk about this elite case from magbak, who are also sponsoring this video. If you got this year's new iPhone 17 Pro, you know how it's easy to get it scratched just from one single drop. And that is all because of this new aluminum body, and that's why magbak is offering an elite case for your new iPhone 17 Pro, which is not only going to protect your iPhone from all the edges, but it also adds so much more features to it. Now, some of the highlighted features of this case is a built-in kickstand where you can just pop this out and you can place your iPhone vertically or in portrait mode whenever you want to watch any content, or if you are like attending a Zoom meeting or any kind of FaceTime call. This comes really handy as you don't have to carry your phone and you can still do something else while you are doing your activities. Now, if you're wondering that you might have seen this case before, then you are not wrong, because I've made a video about this case for my iPhone 16 Pro and how it really helped me in my work-life balance. So everything still stays true for this year's iPhone 17 Pro case as well. Now, they also added this new feature for this year's iPhone, which is this lanyard holes on each side, so you can just carry your iPhone outside with the strap that Apple sells. And some other key features that really makes this case stand out is this finger loop, where you can just place your finger right inside of here, and that way it's really easy and secure to hold your iPhone. Doesn't matter where you are, and let's say if you're like hiking or something, or if you're in like a subway with really tight space, then I think this comes really handy because you know your phone is not going to drop. Now, let's say if you want to record yourself making content, then you can also use these magnets on each side that will stick to your any metallic surface. For example, you can just literally stick this iPhone to your fridge. That way you can watch your content while you're doing any kind of work. And if you would like this iPhone to be sticked in a non-metallic surface, then they also include this small magnetic strap that you can just pretty much stick to any non-metallic surface, and that will give you ability to stick this iPhone wherever you want. Then they also offer this color accents for your case, which you can just apply really easily, and they come in bunch of colors to choose from. Now, this case also comes with a screen protector, so you don't really have to worry about buying that as separately, and it's really easy to apply here. So all you have to do is just put your phone in there. You can just close this box and just pull this strip. Now, all you have to do is just go in there and just one by one just remove all these small bubbles, and you're pretty much good to go. Now, a few reasons why I really like this case over any other case is that it's the best bang for your buck, because you are getting a lot of other features that is only going to make your life even more convenient, especially if you are someone who is working professionally, where you do a lot of professional work using your iPhone. Let's start with the lock screen here, and as you can see, there isn't much going on here. All I have here at the bottom is just a basic Google search. So, if I just want to search something really quickly, I can just quickly tap on that. I also have a ChatGPT here, so I just want to search something on ChatGPT using AI, and I do use that here. And the last one I have here is a shortcut to my YouTube music. And yes, you heard that right. I don't use Spotify or Apple Music, and I have a really good reason, which we'll get more into it later in the video. All right, so now let's start with my home screen. As you can see here, just a clean setup and some of the most frequently used apps, and I don't want to clutter this whole space. That's why I just have this and this side empty, and that just gives me like a clean, minimal look. And on the top left, that's where my weather system is, so I can quickly check what's the weather for pretty much the whole week. So on the right side is all the collection of some of the Google tools that I use frequently. Right on the bottom of that, I have a Leica Photos app. So recently I've been using my Leica Q343. So whenever I finish my shoot, I just really want to quickly get all my photos to my phone. Next to that is a basic iPhone camera, and this is where all the magic happens, especially in the Pro phones. So you have ProRes log for the videos. For the photos, you have 0.5, 1, 2, 4, 8, and I'll go much more into details of all the settings that I have here to get the best out of this iPhone sensor. Moving on the bottom, I have Google Nest app, so I can quickly change the temperature of my apartment, and all the other apps that I use on a daily basis, such as WhatsApp, FaceTime, YouTube, Gmail. And at the bottom, I also didn't keep like 4 apps. It just looked clustered to me, and that's why I just have 3 apps at the bottom. Now coming to YouTube Music, I'm genuinely surprised why people don't really use YouTube Music a whole lot. Especially, it comes included with your premium subscription of your YouTube. So you don't really have to pay extra to get like Spotify or Apple Music, and you are saving the cost and you still get all the good music. Now, if you don't know how well it recommends music to you, then let me tell you, if you do enjoy how YouTube suggests you all the videos that you watch on your homepage, if you do like that, then you'll definitely like YouTube Music, because it definitely knows your taste really well. And it does pretty great job, I would say way close to Spotify. And some of the plus points, such as like some new Gemini features where you can create your own playlist using AI, and that will just curate all the music according to you and what you like to listen to. Now let's move on to my second page here, and this is where all of my other apps that I use on the secondary basis, where I'm not really using all of this every single day. So that's why I have this on the second page. But again, as you can see, I kept the whole layout pretty simple and really minimal. So it's really easy to see and find the best app that you want to use. So as you can see, I have 2 groups going on here. So first one is for all of my socials. So I don't really use a whole lot. So I have Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and Slack here. And on the side of that, I have all the finance, so for my bank and Robinhood and all of that here. And pretty much after that, I don't have any other page. It's just pretty much an app library. So I can just quickly access all the other apps that I want to use right from here. Now, if you're not really sure how to get this layout, then it's really easy. All you have to do is just hold your finger on the screen and you'll get this like a wobbly motion thing going on. And right on the top, you can just click on this edit. And this is where you get all these other options, such as like if you want to edit the wallpaper, then you can just like, if you want to make it blurred, so it gives that kind of like solid color effect. And you can even change colors and gradients and all of that stuff here. So if you want like a more darker tone, you can also use this dark mode. And you can also get this clear mode, which this whole iOS 26 is based on. Now let's go quickly talk about my camera settings. All right, so first thing you have to do is go into the settings and find camera. And once you're in there, go ahead and let's start with the video section. So right here, if you want to just shoot stuff for like social media, or if you just want to record your daily, just daily things, then I think 4K 30 frames per second is pretty good. If you're trying to get that cinematic look, then I would suggest to go for 4K 24. And of course, we have new 4K 120 frames per second. So if you're really going for that slow-mo thing, then you can use that. I wouldn't really recommend you guys to use that mode on daily basis. Moving forward, record slow motion. Here I have set up for 4K 120, so it automatically switches my frame rates to that, and you don't have to do that manually. Third one is record cinematic. Again, as I told you, 4K 24 frames per second will give you that filmic kind of look, so definitely use that for that. Record sound, you can go, I would really like if you really want to use the full potential, I would go for spatial audio, because that way you can actually use different modes and change the whole audio settings even after you shoot the video. Now let's go to the formats, and this is where a lot of main things that happens. And first one is the camera capture. So you want to have this on high efficiency, so that way it kind of gives you the best of the sensor without making the file size really big. Photo mode, keep it on 24 megapixels. And right after that, make sure you have this control on, Pro RAW and resolution control. This way you can, in the camera setting, you can actually select if you want to turn on ProRes, RAW, right from there. And you can also choose the compression method for your picture. So let's say we have 3 options. Mainly people I've seen them using is the JPEG XL lossy, because you might not see too much difference going on in the lossless and lossy, but you will definitely see the file size difference. So yeah, next one is the Apple ProRes. So this is for the video capture. So if you want to change to ProRes log, you can literally change that from the camera app, so make sure you have that turned on as well. Now if you go back and click on preserve settings, this is where you can come in and say that, hey, whatever is turned on, preserve that setting, whatever you set in the camera app. Because if you don't have that turned on, it's going to go back to default every time you open the camera app. So make sure, if you don't want to get too much into detail, just pause this video and copy all these settings. For myself, there's no rules here. You can completely do it as you like, but definitely make sure the setting for live photo is turned on. That way, once you turn it off in your camera app, it won't ever turn on again. And reason why we don't want live photo is because when you use that feature, you don't really get full 48 megapixel for your photos. So yeah, if you want to get high resolution pictures, definitely don't use live photos. Going back from that, now these other settings are also, like up to your choice, whichever you prefer. Now, if you want to get like better compositions for your photos, then turn on this grid so you can see grid while you're taking pictures. You can also turn on this level to make sure the horizon levels are pretty leveled. It's not like, just crooked or anything like that. I think pretty much all the stuff here is default and I just didn't change, which is pretty much all iPhone Pro has to offer. So if you're not really using all these features, there is literally no point to get iPhone Pro. So if you did get the Pro models, definitely utilize all these features that you have available for yourself. And this year's new thing, as you can see in the selfie mode, you have this portrait and landscape mode, so you don't really have to turn your phone other way around to get the landscape. Just click this and that way you can get portrait and landscape, because the sensor this time is pretty much square. And over here on the top, you can click on RAW, and make sure, if you want to get the highest megapixel pictures, make sure to have RAW 48, but don't use that for every single thing because your storage is going to get filled up really quickly. Yeah, I wouldn't suggest you to do that for every single thing, but if you want to capture some really good pictures, definitely go for that. For the other stuff, you can just keep it like 12 megapixels, or you can just keep it high efficiency 24 megapixels. Now coming back from that, let's go to the video mode. If you click on top here, this is where you get all the settings for your log, HDR, and just normal videos. So this is what settings I have here. Since I'm shooting ProRes log, you can also see how much storage I have to record in log mode, which is 45 minutes for me. But if you do want more storage and if you want to go like ProRes RAW, then you would probably need an external storage that is connected to your iPhone. And on the right side, you have these other more settings that we have here. For example, this dual capture. So, you can still see yourself on the top, and you can also move this window wherever you would like. So you can see both screens at the same time. Now, if you're confused that, hey Yash, where's these other modes that Apple offers, such as slow-mo, cinematic? I only see 2 down here. Then this year they made some changes to UI. So if you want to access all those other features, all you have to do is just swipe through it and you'll get all these other modes that your iPhone has to offer. And I think it's really clever by Apple. It just makes everything really clean and easy to understand and use. So this was a really quick rundown of my minimal setup for my iPhone 17 Pro. Also check out this wallpaper pack that I made recently. It's completely free and I'll put a link down below so you can download it for free. And if you do enjoy content just like this, definitely let me know. And also check out these other videos that I think you'll also enjoy. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.